Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Jessica Lopez here with Visionary Inc. Just wanted to first of all thank you all for taking some time out of your busy schedules to learn about the Guaranteed Issue Whole Life Plan. Some of you have already written with us, and I just wanted to take some time to go over some updates that we have pertaining to the product and enrollment, as well as the application process. I'm going to go ahead and leave everybody on mute for the time being. You're welcome to go ahead and put in any questions that you have in the Q&A that you do see there on your screen. And I'll make sure that we get to all of your questions at the end of the presentation. So first of all, Allstate has given us an opportunity to offer individuals access to their group life insurance plan. It's a whole life plan available from ages 18 to 70. First day coverage guaranteed issue. Death benefits are from $10,000 to $80,000 now. Some of you may have written in the recent past, and the maximum allowed was only $75,000. So great news on that. We can now offer up to $80,000 of death benefit. Some key things to know. Number one, Allstate is an A+ rated carrier, available in all states except for New York. It is guaranteed issue, available ages 18 to 70. And again, we have that increase in death benefit available up to $80,000. This is first day coverage. It's not a graded death benefit plan. When I say first day coverage, basically what that means is that the coverage will begin the first of the month following their enrollment. So for example, if you have somebody that's enrolling today, September 3rd, that would mean their effective date would be October 1st. We don't have a way to date it any further out than that. So if you have somebody enrolling this month, then they will have an effective date of the next month. There are no height and weight questions, no prescription drug checks. We don't check the Medical Information Bureau, and there are no motor vehicle report checks. There are some pre-qualifications though, and you can see that here on the right side of the screen. We're looking for people who are actively working at least 20 hours per week or more, not actively being treated for internal cancer, and have not been advised they have less than 12 months to live. They also have to have been working for the past 90 days consecutively. What that means basically is that they haven't really missed much work outside of a normal pregnancy or minor illness or injury. Just wanting to confirm that they have not been on leave for any sort of a major medical event. This is a whole life plan, guaranteed to last to age 121. Premiums are paid up to age 95. You do have access to provide spouse and child riders on this policy. It does build cash value for both the main insured and the spouse rider. The spouse does need to be working currently as well if they're going to apply for more than a $10,000 death benefit. The premiums never increase, and there is a chronic illness rider included in the coverage and premium. So at no extra charge, they do have access to that chronic illness benefit. I will say with regard to the cash value that there is not a way for us to illustrate that. It's not something that is provided by Allstate, being that this is a group plan. I will say though that the policy itself does provide that cash value illustration once it has been issued. So how can Allstate do this? This is, as I mentioned before, a group plan that's made available to individuals. Basically, we're just looking for those who are currently working. It's okay if they've had some health issues as long as they aren't being treated for internal cancer and haven't been advised that they have less than 12 months to live. How and when do we get paid? First of all, we encourage you to quote and write business, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Once you've done that, then all you're going to need to do is complete your marketing allowance agreement if you haven't already done so. And with that, that provides us with information pertaining to you, how you would like to be paid, whether it's to you personally or to your entity. Either way is fine. At that point, we ask you for your banking information so that we can go ahead and set you up on direct deposit. For this product, all commissions are paid as earned for all agents. Commission is paid the month following the effective date of the policy. So for example, if you do write a policy today, it would have an effective date of October 1st. Commission will be paid to us here at Visionary Inc. on November 22nd. The reason for that is that you have to remember this is all built on a group chassis. So all of the policies that are written in September that are going to have an effective date of October 1st are then fed into the Allstate system. They have to do their accounting and make sure everything is accounted for, do the whole process of initiating and creating a policy number, and then paying out the agency. That takes some time, and they do that in bulk. So we do have to wait a little bit for that first commission to come in when you write that policy. But then once that is done, then you're going to be paid every month for the following 11 months. Okay. Once we do receive that direct deposit from Allstate, we do send out a marketing allowance agreement commission statement to you so that you can see what you're going to be paid on. Once you see that statement come into your email, then you're going to know that shortly thereafter, you're going to see a direct deposit to your account. Sometimes it's the same day, or it could be 24 to 48 hours, really just kind of depending on your bank. Okay, so now when it comes to writing business, for those who have written with us here earlier this year, we have made some changes. A couple of things is, number one, we wanted to make sure that all of your clients' information is as secure as possible. So we've moved to a fully encrypted application process. Also, we did hear a lot from our agents with regard to wanting to be able to see a list of who they've submitted, just to have more or less of a tracker. And we have built that into this process as well. We designed this application to be as quick and easy as possible. You're able to do it face-to-face if you have your client in your office, or you can send them an email that would provide them a quote and the link to move forward with the application. So first step, if you haven't already done it, is to register on the Visionary website. I sent everybody here an email with instructions on how exactly to do that. But I'm going to go through and just basically show you what you then need to do once you've registered on our website for access. Okay, so once you've registered on the Visionary website, you have to click this green button here. You're going to get an email from us that's going to grant access for you. We do ask a few questions in this agent registration. If you've already gotten contracted with us with any of our other insurance companies, it may be a little bit redundant, so I apologize for that, but we just want to make sure that we have a good feel for everyone that is gaining access to the website. Once you've registered, you'll get a password. You'll go to login. And once you've logged into our website, it's going to automatically take you to our quote page. Now, just a side note here, this instant life insurance quoter can give you access to all of our insurance company rates. The one that's going to have the Allstate rating information is going to be here under immediate coverage GIWL. So you can access the quote here by clicking Allstate Complete Life Quoter. Or if you go here where it says hello Jessica, it'll say hello whatever your first name is. Hover over that, you're going to see a lot of different things that you have access to. So where we're going to focus today is going to be under the pre-qualification questionnaires, which is the Allstate quoter and application. This link, though, is really exactly the same as this. So no matter how you end up on it, you're going to be able to write. And the reason why it's so important for you to log in to do this is because that then ties you to the applicant as the agent. And then this way you'll be able to take a look and see, who you've written. We do update status on the website for you to see, as well as, of course, send you and your client a confirmation email when it comes to enrolling your client into the Allstate plan. Okay, so now that we're in the agent's customer quota, we're going to go ahead and populate some information here for a little test quote. All right, and so you're going to have an opportunity here to put in the death benefit that you're looking for this individual. Let's go to my birthday month. All right, you're going to notice that we have the tobacco question in here. It does matter whether they smoke or not. That just means that they're going to be charged a smoker rate if they do. We do also ask the questions here just to help you knock out and make a reminder for yourself that we're not going to be able to take people that have been advised that they have less than 12 months to live, or if they're currently being treated for internal cancer. And as you can see here, based on this age for this death benefit, I already have the rate right here. So if you're just talking to somebody, you can give that to them. You have the option to go ahead and put in the spouse rider here. So let's just take a look and see what that would be. All right, and this is going to give you the grand total of $193.10. Let's go back here. I forgot to do this part. There we go. So we're going to say non-smokers, so $288.50 is what it would be in this instance to add the $20,000 death benefit for the spouse. And of course, the $190.10 is the base rate for just me as the insured. All right, so for the sake of our training here, let's say you have somebody that is in the office with you. What you can do is then click on I'm not a robot, and then click on send quote and app link to client. No matter what you do, they're going to get an email that's going to provide them with the rate that you quoted them. You're going to get a notice to copy this tracking code. And why this exists, it basically helps to tie what you quoted to the application behind the scenes so that we can, go back and see if there's any question with regard to the rate and so forth, how that came about. So at this point in time, there's been an email that's been sent to you as the agent and to the client to say this is what you've quoted them. If you have them there in your office, and you can click on apply now, or they can reference the email that they received so that they can click on the link and move forward with that. Okay. Once you click on apply now, then what it's going to do is ask you to put in that tracking code that you just pasted. And here it's going to have you verify what you had actually quoted. Okay. And for this, it does not populate automatically, like you might notice in some application system. The reason is because now we are in the encrypted form. And we're going to go through here and just put in the death benefit that we had applied for. And I'm just going to put in some fictitious information here and explain things as we go. There is only one modal premium, is monthly. They don't have the option to pay quarterly, semi-annually, or anything else. Okay. It's also very important that you're putting in the insured's email address here, their face-to-face. Clearly, if you've emailed them the quote with the application link in it, it's going to their email because they are going to need to sign off on the disclosures at the end. We ask if it's okay to text updates. There's sometimes information that we need to go back and forth on with regard to the enrollment. Let's just say something was wrong with the account number provided. We might ask to call them. They don't call us back. We might text them to ask them to give us a call about their policy, that sort of thing. We verify the smoking status, and we also ask what their annual income is. Here we're going to ask the question of, do you certify that you are actively at work now for wage or profit, and have you worked at least 20 hours each week performing all duties for your regular occupation at your regular place of employment for at least the last 3 months? I know that's a mouthful. That is exactly how it's worded on the Allstate platform. So we just want to make sure that we are covering all bases there. Okay. We can indicate if we're self-employed or not. It is okay if they are. Let's just say someone is self-employed. What we're looking for there is that they are filing taxes. There's a paper trail of some sort. If you have someone who's paid cash under the table because they do lawn services or whatever, but there is no paper trail, that's not who we're looking for. We're looking for people who have an income that they can prove that they've had, just in case in the event they do pass away within the first 2 years of purchasing the policy. If it's questioned whether or not they were working at the time that they had enrolled, at least we would have some sort of a proof that they were. So we're going to go ahead and say we're not self-employed in this one. And we're going to say we're cashier at Home Depot. Okay, we're not advised that we have less than 12 months to live, and we're not being treated for internal cancer. Now, we also ask if they have an existing life insurance policy. Why that matters is Allstate only allows individuals who do not already have an Allstate policy to jump onto this program. I did have an instance where we had someone enroll and they didn't realize that they actually had a small Allstate group benefit plan with their employer. So then we couldn't offer this one. They do check behind the scenes to see if they have an existing Allstate life insurance policy. This is why we asked that question. All right, in this instance, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through the spouse information, but if you do want to add a spouse, you would hit yes, and it would ask all the details with regard to the spouse. And again, if the spouse is applying for only $10,000, or that's what you would like to add for them, there's not a work requirement. Over that, there is. Same for the children. You have the ability to go ahead and add children. We have a drop-down box here that you can add up to 6 children and put in their information there. And then we ask the question if they are paying for their own policy. Now remember, the insured needs to sign up on the disclosures that we have for Allstate. So if you have somebody face-to-face and say the spouse is going to pay for them, or maybe it's a 25-year-old son that the mom's paying a policy for, the policy payer can be different, but the insured needs to be the owner of the policy. They don't allow for other people to be owners of someone's policy. Okay, so in this instance, we're going to say yes. If you had a situation where you weren't face-to-face, you needed to email the application to the client, you would just do so like normal. If there's an arrangement where they're going to have a family member pay for it, then it would be their responsibility to put in that information. It's just important that we have the insured sign off on the application. We don't want somebody to be purchasing a policy on someone without their knowledge. Okay. Sometimes the address for a bank account is different, so we're going to ask that question here. Checking account. One common question we get is whether or not a debit or credit card is acceptable, and it is not. We cannot take that method of payment any longer for that initial premium payment. After the fact, if they needed to put it in as a backup, they can. Once they're enrolled into the system, they're going to have access to be able to change their own banking information if they need to in the future. This actually does make it cleaner. We do run into a lot of issues with debit or credit cards with regard to expiration dates and things like that. So with the platform that we have access to now, they've opted for us to go ahead and just do the ACH direct debit. So that does save a lot of time with going back and forth with clients on tracking down new cards with new expiration dates and that sort of thing. Okay, so effective dates. We touched on that a little bit. They're always going to be the first of the month. So being that we are in September, we're going to have an October 1st effective date. You cannot future date it, unfortunately. So if you have somebody that doesn't want it to start until November, then you're just going to have to wait till October to make that enrollment request. Something else that has changed since the beginning here is when that initial premium payment is going to be drafted. It's going to be drafted on the 10th of each month. And if you have somebody say with an October 1st effective date, then that initial draft is going to occur on the 10th of October. So yes, we are taking that payment after their effective date. Benefit to that is that we're not having them pay, a whole month in advance, which is what was happening, which is, a lot of how a lot of traditional group plans work. This is just something that we're watching though, just so you know, when it does come time to the 10th, the system that generates the draft, it does send them a reminder via text a few days ahead of time that they are going to have a payment withdrawn from their account. And we also send out a reminder to make sure that they are aware that payment is coming up here soon, just to make sure they've got the funds available in there to make that payment. Okay, so with regard to the beneficiary, you all know the drill on this. They have the ability to add multiple primary beneficiaries, multiple contingent beneficiaries if they want to. I'm going to say no to that, no to contingent, and then move forward. Now here are the disclosures that I'm referring to. This is what the client needs to sign off on. And they are able to click on this link here, for example, and view what the disclosure is. So this is basically an agreement that they are being truthful about everything that they've admitted to here. Once they've read that, they can click on yes, type in their name, and then give it the old scribbly doodah here, and next. Same here, this link. This is going to be the chronic illness rider disclosure, just gives them all the details about that benefit. And then this is going to be for the terminal illness. And then this basically is a statement reiterating that they have entered everything to the best of their knowledge as truthfully as possible. And we're going to hit OK there and submit the application. So we've kind of timed this, doing an actual application. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes, just depending, maybe a little bit longer if there's a bunch of children that they're going to be putting in for children riders and so forth, and it may take a little bit longer, but it's a pretty quick and easy process. Once that application comes in, then we get a notification here. We get a notification whenever you quote someone, and we also get a notification when they have signed the application. As soon as we see that the application has been completed and signed, Within that 24-hour period, we do review it for accuracy and we enroll them into Allstate's platform. You and the insured, and if there is a different payer, all three will be emailed a confirmation of the enrollment, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a moment. But before I do that, I wanted to show you where you're going to see a list of the people that you've submitted. So you're going to go to where it says, hello, your name. And then under here where it says, my client pre-qual request, you're going to see my Allstate quoter applications. And then here you're going to see a list of applications that you've submitted. And then here under view detail, you're going to be able to view the client's information, the death benefit, what was quoted, etc. When the application is received here, first step is we review it, enroll them, send you and the insured the confirmation via email. We then flip the switch here to yes, and then we make notes here for your view. That way you have kind of a running list of who you've submitted in this system too, if that helps you keep track of things a little bit more. All right, so next I am going to go ahead and first of all, make sure that everybody has our contact information. So if you have questions on anything Allstate related, you're welcome to give us a call here at this toll-free number. Everybody, of course, has heard from me by email, few phone conversations and things like that, but we're to help you along the way with this whole process. I'm going to also go ahead and just pull up a copy of the email that you're going to receive so you have an idea of what that looks like. Okay, so this is a copy of the email that you get as the agent. It's going to have the tracking code. It's going to have your name, your email here, the client's name, and the client's email. Okay, the applicant gets a similar email to this, includes all the right information, and then down here, basically they can click on the application link to move forward with the quote. And then that's going to take them to this. If they're doing that from home, on their cell phone, or on their computer, whatever way works best for them. So with that being said, let me just take a peek here and see if we have any questions. Okay, I don't see that we have any questions as of yet. I do see a hand coming up here. And I'm going to go ahead, if you raise your hand, I'm going to just allow you to talk so that you can ask your question.
Okay, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me. Well, actually, I have maybe two and a half, three questions. The first question is what they call it, uh sometimes marijuana, what they call it, what's the word I'm looking for?
Okay.
Occasional marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Is that considered smoking or non-smoking or tobacco?
It is a smoker rate.
Recreational. That's the word I'm looking for. Recreational.
Yes. So great question. Allstate does consider smoking marijuana, marijuana use basically, and any vaping, cigars, anything tobacco related, no matter how they're doing it, is going to be a smoker rate.
Okay. Okay. I get that. And then as far as the riders, is the riders per child, a certain amount per child, or is that one premium up to a certain amount of children, or is it per child? So if they have one child, it's one premium. It's the $9 premium, correct? If they have two, it's an additional $9. Or is it $9 just to add a certain amount of children, period?
It's just the $9, and they can add as many children as they need to. The system's built up to 6. If you have a situation where there's more children than that, I'd encourage you to just do the enrollment, and then you can send me an email with any additional children.
So that one premium is going to cover up to 6 children, or is it $9 per child?
It's $9.10, no matter how many kids.
Oh, okay. So that one premium is going to cover child. Okay. All right, great. And I think the last one is you mentioned something about a 2 year period when the person is to be transparent as as far as if there are any illnesses or anything. What happens if they enrolled and they pass away within their 2 year period? What are the underwriting guidelines, or what are they looking for to determine whether or not they should have been qualified, and or if they were transparent in all their information?
If they were working, if they
Oh,
were
just if they were
legitimately
working.
working, right?
Okay.
So you can have somebody who has a health issue and is working.
Okay.
Um, say somebody who has HIV. They're just fine. They're working away, no
Sure.
problems. And, they die in 2 years for whatever reason. If they had been working at the time of enrollment, then they're fine.
Okay.
What we do with regard to these questions for life expectancy and internal cancer, we're just wanting it's to make sure we're covering all bases here. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say someone is currently being treated for cancer.
Mhm.
Depending on the situation, they may or may not be able to function and do some work. For the most part, somebody who's undergoing treatment like that has to take time off. So there's that question that is asked by Allstate, if they've been at work for the past 90 days consecutively. Um, Usually somebody who's going to be in significant treatment of cancer isn't going to be able to work, and they can, then need to go back for more treatments and things. So we're just trying to make sure that we're helping people be as honest as they can by asking these other questions with the reality of their situation right now. Now, you can have somebody that enrolls today and then in 2 months from now resigns because, then they are diagnosed with cancer, but they weren't diagnosed until after they enrolled and they were working at the time they enrolled. That's okay. Of course, every insurance company is going to look at this, at death claims, what's happened in the last 2 years. But so long as they were working and there's a paper trail there, then that's all they're asking for.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions for you, Morris?
Um, so just so I'm clear, my previous enrollment, I sent over the information. I don't think there was any signatures or anything required. So now is this something new because they're signing off on the critical illness and those things? Are those all going to be sent in separate emails, or is it going to be in one email?
It's all one email.
Okay.
So yes, we need to have the insured acknowledge they're getting life insurance,
Got you.
and acknowledging that no, they don't have internal cancer they're being treated for. No, they haven't been advised they have less than 12 months to live. And then also review the disclosures for the writers that are available and the acknowledgement that everything's been answered truthfully. That
Okay.
is just the one email, so they're not going to get a whole bunch of emails. It's super easy compared to DocuSign or a lot of those IGO applications and things like that. In a nutshell, you send the email with the quote in it. They click on a link to apply. They have the rates right there. They just go through, and basically all they have to really worry about is, putting in their contact information, bank info, and who the beneficiary is going to be. Unless, of course, they're adding child writers and spouse writers and that sort of thing.
Wonderful. All right. Great. Those are all the questions I was going to call. I received the email while I was on vacation, and I was going to call to get these questions answered, but this webinar worked out perfectly for me. So,
Okay, awesome. Glad to hear it. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next question I have. Okay, Montrick, you're up.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, cool. I came in late. So you said that the if I enroll someone today, it goes into effect October 1st and they take the payment out October 10th.
You got it.
Okay, so how does commission work? Do we get paid in November or do we get paid in October?
You would get paid in November. So it
Okay.
feels like forever and a day. I know. for that first payment because it is long. It's, say for example, you write somebody today, policy isn't effective until October 1st. By the time you get paid, it is November 22nd. But once that's done, then you're paid every 30 days from that point forward for the subsequent 11 months.
And what's the pay rate?
So the pay rate is going to vary depending on your agreement with us. So we can take a look at that offline.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put a note down to give you a call.
Okay.
Okay, and any other questions, Montrick?
That's it.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. All right, let's look at Steve.
Hey, Jessica, I put some questions in the Q&A, but I'm guessing you're not seeing those. So I just wanted to ask a few questions. One you answered already regarding the vaping as a tobacco rate. So that was one question. I didn't see a question regarding the spouse having a terminal or internal cancer. Is that okay on the spouse rider?
They are not asking that question. Well, actually, I take that back. Yes, that does matter. Now with some of the changes they have in enrollments, they've opened it up a little bit to where if they're going for $10,000, it's not a question. But if they're looking at the higher death benefit increments, then yes, it is a question because they want to know if they're working or not, if they've been treated for any of those things.
Okay.
10,000 is easy peasy. If it's 20 or 30,000, then we start asking those questions.
Makes sense. So it could actually possibly be an option for people that are working. They already maybe even have good coverage, but the spouse can't get coverage because of an ongoing medical concern, but they could at least get 10,000 by doing maybe a couple of $10,000 policies here. It sounds like might be a marketing technique as well. So that sounds really good.
Yep.
I did notice also on the payment screen, it said there's a notification the payment must be made between the current date and the 24th of the month to have an effective date of the first of the following month. That seems to be contradicting the first payment being the 10th after issue date. Is the website wrong on that?
Yes, so that's being updated now after this call, because we still had some people transitioning from the old system. So effective now, basically nothing, everything's gonna be drafted on the 10th. Unfortunately, we don't have any other options. So it's only the 10th of the month. When it comes to enrollment, it kind of leads me into something else. The important thing is to say if you have somebody that wants an October 1st effective date, is to have them enrolled by the end of the month, the last business day, 4 o'clock Central Time. So for example, for September, we would need everybody in by September 30th, 4 p.m. Now, if it's a weekend, it needs to be in the business day before the weekend starts.
Got it. That's even better. Before. And one last question I had here was, our past written clients, from the prior system, are they viewable on the new site or just new applications?
Just the new applications, but if you do need a list or report on that, then I can absolutely send that to you.
That's good. Thank you so much, Jessica.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks, Steve. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, Robert.
Hi there. So just a real quick question. Steve asked one or two questions that I had as well. But looking at internal cancer, what's the technical definition of an internal cancer?
Anything in the body that would be diagnosed as cancer. We're not going
Okay, so
into any.
Generally assuming cancer is any kind of skin cancer. It's not necessarily anything that's going to be on a vital organ or anything like that. It's just any kind of cancer.
Right. Basal cell is an exclusion, but that's not internal.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it would be where we're looking at somebody who's being treated chemo, radiation, surgery, that sort of thing to treat the cancer that they're battling.
Okay. Okay. That answers it. Appreciate it.
Okay. You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, Michael.
Okay. So my question has to do with the cash value that accumulates. At what percentage does that accumulate, and do they have a guaranteed and a non-guaranteed rate of accumulation?
Um, the rate at which it would, we can't really illustrate that. We don't have a way to illustrate that for you ahead of time. If you have somebody that's really kind of wanting to see what it would look like after, say, years, 10, 20, 30, there
Mhm.
is a summary that we can provide of what that would look like. But we're not able to illustrate that. I wish we could. It's a common request that we get, but we're not able to that. There is guaranteed cash value though in those. And then once the policy is issued, they're given that full length illustration with the policy so they can see that.
Oh, okay.
But
So they will see it once the policy is issued.
you got it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that was my only question. Everything else has been pretty fully covered.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank
All right, James, your turn.
Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Quick question on the face-to-face. A lot of agents today, they take live calls that come in, or they're calling their leads, things like that. Can they walk the individual through that enrollment over the phone with the email they receive? How's
That
that
would
go?
that would be my suggestion. Absolutely. I personally write as well, and it's a lot easier sometimes when you're walking them through it. We try to make it as quick and easy as possible. But yeah, if you have them on the phone, walk them through that, and then just make sure they click through at the end. The nice thing about it is they're going to be on one screen the entire time, and if they answer more, that just takes them to the next. But all the disclosures are in that same session, so they're not leaving any other screens or any other environments to do these things unless they want to read all of the disclosures from top to bottom or download them, then they can do that. That
Now,
was a Mhm.
like you said, you write as well through this new system. Have you found it simple and easy to walk someone that's not experienced at this through the enrollment process in that email for their e-sign?
I do. I do. There's not really any moving parts, so to speak. It's just them putting in their name, address, banking information, who they want the beneficiary to be.
All right, cool. That's the only question I had. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, Todd.
I only said hello 7 times before I noticed the unmute button.
No problem.
What's cooking?
Oh, a little bit of Allstate.
I like it. You crushed this today. It was really good.
Thank you.
Question on the signatures. If we are using our computer or they're at our place and it's going to have the same IP addresses for signature stamps, is that a problem?
That is okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, that's fine. The signature with them using the mouse. Now, my handwriting's terrible, so when I do a mouse signature, it looks like a scribble, but we're looking for them to try. And that's kind of how we can help. It's not going to be exact.
But the place where they're standing when they sign, the IP isn't going to mess up the approval.
No, it's not.
That's all I wanted. Thanks.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, Joseph.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good
Great,
morning.
great training so far. Jim actually asked one of my questions already about walking them through. Um, I wanted to know one, can we get a copy of this? Was this recorded?
It
This
was
great training.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You got it. I'll get a copy over to everybody here when we're done. And then, of course, if you have any additional questions too, you're welcome to give me a call, email, shoot me a text if you have any other questions you wanted us to go over.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And the other question was just defining work, the at least 20 hours per week. Is that has to be through an employer where they're receiving a W-2, or can they be 1099 or independent contractor or entrepreneur? I might have missed that if we covered that. I just wanted to confirm.
All of those are okay.
Oh.
They just need to have a paper trail in case there's questions. I've had a couple applications come in where, someone's a housekeeper paid cash for their son. That's not going to work. Sorry, but legit, they are making a living. They have money coming in, and there's a paper trail that's not just dollar bills.
Okay. So, and part of that, do they have to be documented, um, like have a social security number, or can they be have an I-10, or are these U.S. citizens only?
This is for U.S. citizens only. Yes.
So they have to have okay.
Yep. If you have somebody that's here on a work visa and such, we have other carriers that are available. Or if they
Oh,
have
nice.
I-10, yeah. So we can look at that. It just wouldn't be an Allstate bid.
All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions, Joe?
No, that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's see here. I have someone just jump up. Okay, Lance.
Yes, I got in kind of late. I just did one of these like last month, and I did it, I guess, on the old system. Is that correct?
We had both running side by side, but
Uh-huh.
more than likely you did use the old system.
So if you're assisting somebody on the phone now, so I saw when you were doing it a little while ago, you put the example, you scribbled a signature in that little box. Normally where the policyholder would do that, is that just to get you to the next question? I mean, or did you doing that, is that have anything to do with the binding of the policy at all?
It's not to get to the next question. Those disclosures are at the very end of the application. So they fill out the pertinent details and then they sign off on the application.
So in other words, what we do is this is kind of like an assisted application. So we're assisting them. Once we get the pertinent information, I guess we'll send them an email. They'll get the email. We tell them this is what we need to do, answer these questions, sign off on it, whatever. That's kind of the way it works.
Well, if you have someone not in your office, you're doing this over the phone, you would quote them, you would trigger that email to go to them. They'd get the rates by email and the link to apply.
Okay, so they would apply themselves. We wouldn't enroll them ourselves.
Right.
Okay. I just want to get that straight. I'm pretty sure that's all I had to answer.
Okay.
All the questions I had.
Okay. Thank you, Lance.
Thank you.
Okay, Jay.
Hey, Jessica, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good. The only question I have is regarding commission. I know you said that basically it would take like a month and a half to get paid on a case, and then the 11th, for the rest of the 11 months, we'll get paid every 30 days. What happens after the first year?
There aren't any renewals on this.
No renewals.
No renewals, no.
All right. That clears it up for me.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, Herman, you're next.
Hi, Jessica. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Great. I just have one question. Since we're going through you to get these policies approved and issued, do we need to be licensed in other states that we do business in?
The only state I ask you to be licensed in is your resident state.
So I can write business in all the other 49 states?
You can, yep, because I'm licensed in all 50. Of course, New York doesn't count for this product, but that's okay.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, thanks, Herman. Okay, Ruth, you're up.
Yes, how long it takes before the website is allow us to log in? Log
So
in register.
it's within the same day.
Sunday. Okay.
Yep, within the same day. And if you get stuck on registration or anything like that, Cheyenne at extension 450 is here to help as well. But when they come in, we just review that information. We're just looking specifically for, licensing information that you entered, whether or not you've had any vector issues and things like that in the past. So we ask you to fill out that questionnaire, and then she's pretty quick. If we're busy with a lot of phone calls, it may take a couple of hours, but it's the same day.
Okay. One quick question. Can we write or offer this plan to someone who doesn't have a social security, but they do have the IT number?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. They need to have such. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we do have options though in that for those situations, depending on how much insurance they're looking for. A couple of our major go-tos would be SICA, the Citizens Plans, as well as Emeritus.
Say Sika and what else?
Emeritus.
Emeritus. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Ruth. Okay, Chu, you're up. Chu, can you hear us okay? We lost her. Okay. Carl?
Yes.
All
Can you
right.
hear me?
I sure can.
Very good. What about a retired person or self-employed?
Retired, strictly retired, no. Self-employed, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
If they're self-employed, yes. If they are retired, no. Retired doing nothing is a no.
I have a fellow who's retired, but he's working, but he's not getting a check. So I guess that disqualifies him.
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah, so they would need to be working for a wage or profit.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome, Carl.
Good meeting. Good meeting.
Thanks, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, looks like we've gotten everybody. I'm going to take a look at our chat and just see if we've covered all bases here. Okay. Looks like we've about covered everything. Okay, here's the question I have from that wasn't covered yet. Does a client get a policy or certificate of coverage? They do. They actually do get a policy. The hard copy of the policy takes some time to get in the mail, but we do have the ability to email them a PDF version of that as well. I find that it takes about, I figure about 45 to 60 days for them to get the hard copy in the mail, but they can view the policy online. And when we send the email confirmation to the client with the CC to you, we give them the links that they're going to need. And one's going to be the Allstate My Benefits portal, and they're going to be able to view all their coverage online as well. Okay, let's see here. Looks like we've covered a majority of this here. Okay, I have a question with regard to the child rider. That amount that is available is 20,000, and it's just that one flat amount. Okay. All right. It looks like we've covered everything. what I will do is, okay, looks like Chu, your mic wasn't working. Looks like you had a question with regard to using the spouse income to apply with the second. Okay. So with regard to the income question, when we ask that question, it has to do with the primary insured is what we're looking at there. And then Chu, I'll give you a call when we're done here so we can go over that as well. Okay, well, I really appreciate your time today and look forward to, working with you on this Allstate plan. If you run into any issues on anything, feel free to reach out to us. We're here to help. Just wanted to thank you all for the business you've already written and those who are planning to write. Welcome aboard. We'll talk soon. You guys have a wonderful day and I'll be in touch.